안녕하십니까. I just learned this word from the hotel staff this morning, so I think if not I'm mistaken, please forgive me. Yes, I want to. Can I use this one? I just want to share with you about the Invest in Indonesia. Before I sharing with you about Indonesia, I just want to give you the where is Indonesia. This is the Indonesia. Maybe a lot of Indonesia don't know about where is Indonesia, what is about Indonesia. Indonesia, this is Indonesia, the biggest island in the world. We have more than 17,000 islands. 17,000 islands, the biggest in the world. And we have 750 domestic language. So very difficult if you if me myself is Indonesian, if I go to, like, let's say to Papua, this is the eastern Indonesia island. If we make communication with the people over there, but we have one language, Indonesian language, so we can communication in all the area with Indonesian language. Okay, sometimes people only knows Indonesia, only Bali, but Indonesia is not only Bali. You see, Bali is over here. It's a small island here, but Indonesia, you see, if we fly from Western Indonesia to Eastern Indonesia, is about 7.5 hours. It's like from New York go to Seattle. So this is the Indonesia. So before I want to before I talking about Indonesia, I want to talking about ASEAN, because right now, after the crisis in US, also crisis in Euro, everybody see the Asia. In Asia, without talking about ASEAN is impossible. This is the ASEAN macroeconomic within the ASEAN countries. I get the data from ASEAN Secretary in Jakarta. So this is a current figures just launched last month. Indonesia right now is Indonesia is right now have a very good position in the term of the economic growth. In terms of GDP, you can see last year, 2012, we predict that our economic growth will be 6.3. But in the realization of the GDP last week that already launched by government, we only got 6.23%, still up of 6% of the GDP. Still the highest growth in economy in the world. The first growth is Tibet. Tibet is more 15% growth in the world for the economic growth, and Indonesia is 6.23%. In terms of inflation, if we're talking about growth, we have to know about the inflation. Why? With the inflation will be reflects about the condition of the economy. If our growth is high, but the inflation also high, it's very difficult. Right now, the problem faced by Japan. This morning I saw on the CNBC TV that Japan has faced the problem with this inflation, and the growth is minus. It's about also about the inflation, also the yen daka, and this condition also have effect to their economic, also have the effect to their strategy relating with trade and investment. You can see from this figure about the inflation rate, Singapore is very high. I live in Singapore. I based in Singapore. I know the condition. Singapore right now, its GDP only growth 1.5. Even they propose and they plan about 1 to 3% of growth, but this year they only growth 1.5%. And the inflation in Singapore is about 5.2%. In Indonesia can maintain the inflation only in 4%. And the growth is 6.23%. So I just want to share you where's the South Korean position in ASEAN. This is the top 10 export market import region in 2011. So in terms of the ASEAN country, the South Korea have a share of the total only 4.4%. You see the share of the world export. ASEAN sharing about 26.4% to the world. And South Korea 4.4% itself. If we divide it to 29.4% to 10 countries, if we make the same sharing within the 10 countries of ASEAN, 2.6% is come from the one country. But if we are talking about ASEAN countries, we have 10 countries within an ASEAN. Indonesia sharing about 40% of GDP of the ASEAN. If you divide it from this figure 26.2 to 40%, it's been almost 8% is come from Indonesia. And how about the import from the origin of country? ASEAN countries sharing 23.6%. And congratulations to South Korea, they sharing about 6.1% to the world. It's very big figures. But in terms of value, you can see from here the volume of the export, ASEAN give a very, very big sharing for the world. How about the partnership between the trade between the ASEAN countries or about the Korean? Sharing to ASEAN in trade is about, it's almost same from the previous, but this is a this is more the figure about the export and import in terms of South Korea to the rest of the world. And if we compare to from export and import to total trade, South Korea sharing about 5.2% to the world, and ASEAN for sharing to 25% to the world. That's why in the previous I mentioned that right now US and Europe see the ASEAN market, but if they not consider ASEAN as the first one, they will lose, because based on the data, ASEAN sharing about 25% to the world of the rating, which is trade. This is a trade, but right now we are talking about the investment. Regarding about the investment in these figures, we can see that whereas the Indonesian, all the other Asian countries can sharing about the investment related inflow and extra to the related country Indonesia. Based on the data, Indonesia still have a position, in very good position in terms of the inflow and outflow, the investment. And it is the top of the source of the investment into the ASEAN countries. And South Korea right now have from 2009 to 2011 is about 3%. 3% they're sharing to the ASEAN area. I don't know where is the rest of the South Korean investment. I don't know. They goes to Europe or they goes to America. But the sharing of the South Korea in ASEAN area only 3%. Sorry, only 3%. If you compare with all the other countries, let's say within the ASEAN itself, all the ASEAN countries they invest, and also within the ASEAN countries outside Singapore, or they goes to Malaysia, or those go to Korea, or goes to Myanmar or Laos. They're sharing us about 18%. And the second is the European country. And South Korea only sharing 3% to the ASEAN area. We know that South Korea is very, very rich country. And very, very welfare country. And your investment in ASEAN only 3%. The rest is maybe into to China, to Europe, or to America. And if your investment and if your trading goes to America or European country, right now maybe you have problems right now. If I don't mistaken, because based on survey, I want to share you about the survey. This is the figures launched by Credit Suisse in the first in earlier of 2011. They made a study about this one. How strong this country to faces the problem regarding about the U.S. Financial crisis, about the demand shock in because the financial crisis also affect to demand shock in Europe and as U.S. Also the condition in China, and the last is the oil price shock, which the country have strong enough to face the problem. Credit Suisse makes the study and we not pay them. They do by this professional, and you see from how to read the figures. If the country have a highest figure, it means it's good. So they strong enough to face the problem. Let's see, like this. Indonesia regarding about the finance crisis in U.S. The Credit Suisse gave us 9, almost perfect 10, almost. And about the demand shock, also 9. And China bubble burst, also 9. And the oil shock, unfortunately, they only give us 4. The total is 31. And how about the Korea? About the financial crisis, they gave 4. And demand shock 6. China bubble 4. Oil price 2. And total score is 16. What does that mean? As previously, I already mentioned about where is your trade, where is your Korea, where is your trade, your investment goes to. So when you have a problem regarding this condition, you have a problem too, right? And this figure prove it. And this morning also I see from the television and CNBC also and Channels News Asian, the discussion between the expert regarding the financial. They said that right now the condition in bank financial, Indonesia bank financial is the best within the ASEAN countries. Not according to expert. This morning I heard from the TV. And how about the demand shock? Also they gave 9. And Chinese bubble asset, they gave Indonesia 9. Unfortunately, Indonesia have a very big business with China. And regarding about trade, we have a big figures to trading with China. And when China have a problem with this condition, the growth is 8%, but it's not enough for China to grow in 8%. Because for the China, they have to grow minimum 10 as before. And if they grow only 8, it's problem for China. So there's also affecting to Indonesia. Unfortunately, once again, Indonesia trading almost minus. We have a minus in trading because we are import a lot of capital goods. I back to Indonesian macroeconomic. This is the GDP growth. Our GDP is mostly support by domestic consumption. 60% our economic is growth support by domestic consumption. Domestic consumption, what does it mean? Without purchasing power, it's impossible they can buy something to support economic. Yeah, right. Yet last year we have already got the increasing the middle class. The middle class have power to purchase. They increase their power to purchase. What is the definition about the middle class? According to World Bank, the middle class, if they can consume $1 to $20 per day per capita, and the middle class Indonesia, based on the definition from the World Bank of the middle class, they consume right now is about $14 per capita per day. That's why if they have a purchasing power, they can support and they can consume the domestically. You can compare with China. China, the growth is 8, but the purchasing power in China itself is not enough to support the domestic market. That's why this government of the Republic of China right now have the policy to support their people to have the purchasing power so they can sharing to the economic growth of China. Also from the television, this morning also, I just waiting from the colleague from Kita to pick up me from the hotel. I watching the TV. Obama also launched, they have to encourage the businessmen in U.S. to increase their minimum wages in U.S. so the people in U.S. have the purchasing power. That's why the purchasing power of domestic is very important to support your economy. And Indonesia, we are lucky we have a 2,040 million people population and 60% in middle class. This is a projection. I don't want to mention it. This is only projection by done by IMF about the GDP to the beyond 2012 and beyond. This is the realization of the investment last year, 2012. South Korea in the third ranking. This is 1.2 billion US dollar. This is not the license. This is the realization of the investment in Indonesia. Maybe you will confuse about the first ranking is Singapore. Yes, Singapore is the first ranking. Last year, they 2011, they can reach 5.2. This year, 4.9 billion USD. But don't think that this is Singaporean money, because the position of Singapore is the hub for the financial within the ASEAN. So the money maybe come from the Korean company, US company, European company, wherever they stop in Singapore and they goes to Indonesia. So maybe this money is not belong to the Singaporean, maybe belong to the Korean. This is mainly where is the sector that Singaporean right now, the business in Indonesia. You can see from these figures, this is the total of the Singapore Korean investment in Indonesia, 1.9 billion last year. The first is you can see from here is about relating with rubber industry, basic chemical, only textile industry, like my colleague here already invest in Indonesia. So this is I want to share you about the potential. You can sharing, you can trading. Maybe the investment in the first initial just trading. After you confidence, you can invest to make the business more efficient. Because sometimes if you go to make a business just trading and the market is big, I think it's better you build up the manufacture in the market itself. This is the effect of the increase of the middle class. Me myself, when I was child, I never sleeping with air condition. This is air condition. But right now we have to, in every family, mostly they need the air condition. This is the aircon. This is the refrigerator. Every year is the increase. This is washing machine. Sorry, I finished this. This is a washing machine and this is water pump. But don't thinking you want to make the air condition, you want to make the refrigerator or water pump, whatever. Maybe you can work a manufacturer to make a supporting industries. Because Samsung and LG already there. But they need the supporting industry to run their business. For automotive, this year we're targeting to sell 1 million unit cars per year. And you can working it on it to support the automotive industry. Because the supporting industry related with the automotive is very, very big area. This is electronic fan and television. And there's another opportunities. You see from here, from the steel, Japan only selling 10% in Indonesia market. This is Indonesia market condition. South Korea 4%. One is a POSCO over there. Already there, POSCO. European country 4%. And the automotive, Japan is 19%. And right now, Thailand is 11%. Thailand is mostly the brand is Japanese brand. They do the business in Indonesia, but the automotive itself the Japanese brand. And right now we have a lot of Korean brand in Indonesia like Hyundai, like Kia over there, and they operate there. So, but for the automotive itself, maybe someday Korean will be there. And for machinery, you see that Japan, China, and chemical, South Korea is a very big figure, 5%. Also in electronic, South Korea 6%. Pharmaceutical also, we have a big opportunities because we have a increase in middle class. The consequences of the increase in middle class, they are very, very, very aware about their wellness, about their health. So they need the pharmaceutical support to the manufacturer for the medicine. This is the opportunity they offer you. This is the big policy within the development of the Indonesian economic. This is the Indonesian. Where is the area? This is the sector that we are promote to develop this area. And then we have also the negative list that's regulated about how much the foreigners can business in one sector and something like that. And also we have a regulation about the partnership. Also we have a incentive. Later on the Q&A session, we can discuss further about this. Kamsahamnida.